Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Blacklogic. Today, we're going to take some time. So this may be a longer than usual video. I'm going to share a couple of clips and things like that, but it's going to be more intuitive, more involved, I will say the least. But so let's dive right into the latest twist in the trade saga. Again, with Donald Trump, United States of America, Canada, and Mexico. But President Trump has hit the pause button on the 25% tariffs that were looming over a slew of Mexican and Canadian goods. Now, this 1 month reprieve is designed to give our neighbors to north and south some breathing room, and let's be honest, to keep out in industries like automobiles and agriculture from feeling the squeeze. Again, they're still trying to come to a comprehensive deal that all countries can benefit, okay? That all countries can benefit. So again, we're going to continue to watch this. I'll keep you guys updated because this may affect a lot of the products that come from Canada and Mexico. And these are not just Canadian products. These are not just Mexican products, but these are products that are American, but they're just made in those countries, like automobiles. So again, I'll definitely keep you guys updated because that will affect your bottom line. Now, as we shift gears here to a more international stage. Now, you know what? There's something I want to hint on. There's something I want to hint on very quickly. Because China has come out and spoken a lot of things as well about this. And they have labeled the United States of America as being two-faced. Not that for years, China and Russia have been influencing American politics, whether it be for you to vote for the right or the left, the liberal or the conservative, Republican or the Democrat. It really doesn't matter. They've been involved. And to call us two-faced is, historical in some regards. But Minister Wang of China, he took particular aim at the so-called arbitrary tariff imposed by our president, suggesting that such actions are counterproductive and strain the already tense relations between the two superpowers. Oh, because we're playing nice ball with Mexico and China, we're on the same continent. We're on the same continent, number one. Two, these will directly impact America more quickly than tariffs on China. These are right across the border. You can drive to both of these countries. They're on the north and south of our border. But China, you've been doing things to America for a very long time on a very military, strategic, political scale. It's one of the reasons why China is the world's second superpower, because they're very intelligent about the way they have been going at things. We're going to go to Africa and we're going to have Chinatowns all through Africa. We're going to control the many countries in Africa, not the way the Europeans did. No. We're not going to do that. We're going to control Africa and Africans economically. We're going to offer their governments, who has power all over the citizens, billions of dollars, but we're going to mine these countries for all their natural rich resources. And we're going to use some of these materials, and we're going to use a lot of these minerals and materials that we get from Africa on the low. We're going to offer them $50 billion, but we're going to take $100 billion worth of minerals. And that's including taxes and equipment costs and repair. We're going to add all that in, but we're going to get at least double our money. And not only that, we're going to be very strategic the way we do it. We're going to have Chinese security forces in Africa. We're going to control some of the African ports, or we're going to allow them to give us land or make them give us land economically so we can bring in things faster if it's Chinese owned and Chinese ran. Yeah. I don't know why China's talking tough. Like, we don't know what you're doing. But again, don't get me wrong. I think they're very cunning, they're very witty, and they're very smart about the way they've been doing this. Who's helping them? America. Americans are the biggest consumers in the world. So we are buying lots of products almost every day. Let me ask you a question. When is the last month you did not order anything from Amazon, from Target, from Walmart, okay, whether it be online or in store, from Temu, doesn't matter. Name 1 month that you didn't buy anything. Majority of those products are manufactured and created in China. And a lot of them are American products, American businessmen, American inventors, etc. But everybody outsourced the work to China so they can make 10 times the profit. So again, they're getting all the materials, all the minerals that they need to create these products from Africa. Again, they're making double the money. Then these companies over in China, the economics are different. So things are not as expensive in China as they are in America. Take, for instance, SUV. A SUV in America with leather seats, sunroof, massaging chairs, $65,000 starting price. Over there in China, it may be $45,000, $20,000 cheaper, and the food is cheaper. So again, the economics are very different, meaning that the people who are going to work and create these products are making way less than $8 an hour, $4 an hour. Like in America, I think the lowest minimum wage in America is around $7 to $8, maybe Alabama or Arkansas somewhere, where the cost of living is low. So again, we have to look at the dynamics and the multitude of connection points that exist why China would say such a thing, knowing that China is bent on world domination from an economic standpoint. And again, to a regard of intelligence, strategy, the wit, I take my hat off to them. But it's not like we didn't know this. I wonder why it had to wait to, again, I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, but they had to wait to Donald Trump, who understands contracts and business and deal, regardless of what people think about him. He doesn't seem that intelligent. Became president twice. He's a billionaire. Oh, that's his white male privilege. Maybe. Maybe he's just different. I wouldn't compare Kevin Hart and Dave Chappelle together. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't compare the two comedians. To me, they have two different types of comedy, but they're both effective and they're both funny. What am I getting at? Let's take, for instance, Obama. To me, Obama had the presence of a president, the speech of a president, the actions of a president, the mannerism of a president, and he became president. Donald Trump is totally different. Donald Trump is riggedy-raw all the time. He says whatever he wants to say. I've seen him curse publicly as a president. These are just totally different from a Barack Obama. Barack Obama seemed more polished. He was in the Senate. Donald Trump came from The Apprentice, from a billionaire to his own empire to run the country as a business. So I see them very differently. So they handle these things very differently. But what's the point I'm trying to make? They both were president. Kevin Hart and Dave Chappelle are both funny, in my opinion. Kevin Hart do a lot of relatable stories that are very quick and witty and really, gut funny. You just laugh so hard. And Dave Chappelle is more methodical with little tickles and hints of laughter. Then comes the big joke. So two different types of comedy, two different types of president, but they're still in the position. So again, I cannot believe that it waited to Donald Trump to get to this point where he saw everything that was going on and like, hey, enough. America is about to be transformed and we're going to be at the bottom. We're going to have all these other European countries. We're going to have all these Asian countries doing better than we are on the economic stage. And Americans, let's just be real. We're the biggest crybabies of the world because we've always had it good. We've always had it good to a certain degree. Let's not count 1929 Great Depression or 2008, 2009, the recession. Those were bad times. COVID-19, that was worldwide. But for the most part, when I look at other countries, and I'm talking about if you are, first, second, third, no matter how you are, I'm talking about those people who are probably born in the 50s and beyond. And of course, depending on your demographic, but 50 and beyond have had it good in America. America has been a very prosperous country. That's why everybody has been coming here for a very long time. You only see people who are not Japanese move to Japan when they're in the height of their career or they're doing well or they're retired. Have you noticed that? People make their money in America because it's been very prosperous. And then they moved to these other countries like, well, I left America because it is. No, you left America because you had money. That's why you left America. So again, Donald Trump saw that, boom. He wants America to be on top and stay on top. And I agree with that. It's kind of like your winning team. It's kind of like your winning team. Think of America as your favorite sports team. It don't matter if it's hockey, football, basketball, soccer. Doesn't matter what the sport is. But wouldn't you like your team to win every year so you can just, berate people about their sorry teams? And again, you do want competition. You want other teams to compete, but you always want your team to win because you're biased and you're favorable. And guess what I am? I am biased of American winning. I want America to win all the time. I want America to stay on top. I want America to be safer. I want America to be more prosperous economically. Why wouldn't you want your team to win? Why wouldn't you want your country to win? But I digress. I don't know if you guys been hearing this. There's been some really, really strong takes on Elon Musk lately, as it should be. And I've been stating this. So I'm glad this has come into fruition, because both politically and tech circles, President Trump has reportedly set new limits on Elon Musk's authority. Hold back. It's one of those times where I look at certain stories for you guys and I think about how it relates to me personally and how my upbringing is. Like in certain demographics of America, in certain pockets of America, they're like, whoa, hold on there, big rank. That's how they'll speak. And in my community, in my culture, from where I'm from, we'll say pump your brakes. This is basically telling Elon Musk to pump his brake. You don't have all that power. You do have access, okay? You do have the weight of the Trump administration behind you. But whoa, little Nelly, pump your brakes. You don't have that much power. This is about access versus power. You have the access, but you do not have the power. And there's been a lot of backlash over recent decisions related to Doge and concerns about the broader implications of Musk's influence in various sectors. Because in a recent cabinet meeting, Trump made it abundantly clear to his team. He was like, you're in charge, not Elon Musk. You guys are in charge. And this declaration aims to reinforce the authority of the cabinet members in their respective domains and ensure that policy decisions are made thorough traditional government channels rather than being swayed by external corporate influence. Because at the end of the day, let's keep it abundantly clear, transparently clear. The only reason why Elon Musk is the richest man in the world is because of the U.S. government. Let's make that very clear. Secondly, who's the most powerful man in the world right now? The richest man in the world or somebody else? Now, some of you are like, well, if you're the richest man in the world, you can own governments, you can own this, and you can make people do this, and you can sway the hands of power. I will argue that and state that Donald Trump is the most powerful man in the world, even though he has the amount of riches that Elon Musk has. You know why? Because he controls the money. Elon Musk does not have that money if Donald Trump, with a swipe of his pen, signed an executive order changing the way that government contracts are ran, or changing the way how independent contractors for government, or for the U.S. government rather, will accept payment. You get what I'm getting at? He can change the very dynamics of finances in America if he wanted to, just so he can hurt Elon Musk. So I'm telling you right now, the most powerful man in the world is not the most richest man in the world. The most powerful man in the world told the richest man in the world that you are not in charge. Don't get it twisted. You are not in charge. Those people that I've appointed and selected are in charge. You are someone that I've given access to the American government, but you're not in charge. I respect it. And this is what I've been saying, and a lot of people saying, is Elon Musk off the leash? Can he just do whatever he wants? And when you start having, of course, Democrats, they were crying out long before, but when you start having people on the right start to speak out about the amount of latitude he's been given, a lot of the rope access he's been allowed, that's when you sit back and you just kind of look like they may have a point. And thus this statement right here by President Trump. The cabinet members are in charge, not Elon Musk. That needed to be said. And as we're going back to China, it's something I wanted to point out very quickly. Because in a bipartisan movement is gathering and a lot of momentum in the Senate to ban Chinese entities from purchasing farmland near U.S. military bases. This is a no-brainer. What are we talking about? This is a no-brainer. Why we should have foreign countries owning farmland by military bases? I think every Marine has a tattoo like this. Every Marine, every devil dog has a tattoo like this. United States Marine Corps. Ask any military member. It doesn't matter. When I was in the Marines, I would ask Marines. If I was in the Army, I would ask soldiers and special forces and Green Berets. Why should any foreign entity own property in America? You should be able to lease. But not own property, let alone own farmland near a military base. How does that make any sense? I cannot believe this is even a situation or a conversation. And now lawmakers are raising alarms about potential national security risks. Emphasizing the need to protect critical infrastructure and maintain the integrity of defense operation. And this particular initiative reflects growing concerns over foreign investment in strategic locations and the imperative of safeguard American security. What are we talking about? I just can't. I cannot believe this is a situation that we are going through. This is definitely unbelievable.
These tariffs that have been placed on them. Can you speak to how the administration is planning on responding to that?
Well, I think Secretary Hegseth has responded to that this morning. He said that America will always be prepared to defend itself, especially under the leadership of this president in the Oval Office. And that certainly remains true. Again, when it comes to tariffs, the president has been very tough on China, not just now with 20% and more with the reciprocal tariffs that will hit on April 2nd. But look at what he did in his first term. There were billions of dollars worth of tariffs that he implemented on China.
White House Press Secretary Caroline.
So we're really cracking down on China altogether. And it took President Trump to realize this. And again, this is from a business standpoint. We have high inflation. We have had an enormous amount of increase of how much houses cost. Have you guys ever asked yourself the question? I live in Alabama. No, I don't live in Alabama. I live in Texas, but I'm just giving you guys a scenario. I live in Alabama and I purchased a 4-bedroom house, 3 bathrooms, 2-story. Cost me $150,000. I moved to Atlanta. I moved to New York. I moved to California. I moved to Washington State. That same house is anywhere between $500,000 and $1.5 million. Same wood, same drywall, same paint. Oh, you don't understand Blacklogic. It's because of where you live and the economics and the cost of living in that area. Because for some people kind of giving me like, well, you know, Arkansas is mostly farmland. So there's nothing really, no tech companies, no big cities. And I'm like, okay, how does that change your price in wood? Just get your lumber and your drywall from Arkansas and ship it to California. Why is your house 1,500 square feet and it's worth $2 million? And my house is 4,000 square feet. It's triple the size of your house almost. I sit on a bigger lot, but your house is worth, this because it's in California. Oh, California is more desirable. They have better weather. They have beaches. They have Hollywood. They have this. They have that. Have you guys ever felt like this is a big scam? Like, okay, you got there first. But the way they control population, right? So all of these people who are making minimum wage can't afford a place like that. They keep us, classism, racism, discrimination on all accords exist. But it's the way how governments, local municipalities control the people, and we don't even see it. You ever hear people like, oh, I feel like I'm living in a matrix? No, you're living in a government that is constructed by the way of what people believe democracy is. People believe that democracy is free. No, we live in a republic according to the Constitution. So the people that we select, the people that we vote for, control us. Have you ever thought about that? Like, okay, well, you elected Donald Trump. Cool. Now you have to follow along with everything that he does. And we know this, do we not? We know once we put someone in place that they control our lives. And they control the economy, and they control the military, and they control damn near every aspect of what we live. What control do we really have over the government once you select that presidential candidate for 4 years? So I don't understand why Democrats are still complaining about Donald Trump. He's going to be the president, God-given, for the next 3.5 years. Like, come up with a new strategy. Because I promise you, the Republicans are coming up with a strategy that has been winning. They're not just winning these elections. They're winning the hearts and minds of the American people. It don't matter if you believe that they're racist or prejudiced or discriminatory or biased. Well, Donald Trump only had 2 black people in their cabinet. How many black people? Now, granted, Donald Trump is a celebrity, okay, but how many black people you think he surrounds himself with? How many black people you think they're truly his friends? And I keep telling people this. Majority of businesses in America hire people for 2 reasons. For 2 reasons. They hire you because you're relatable. It's a cultural thing, right? It may not even be color to a certain degree, but a lot may be color, okay? Because you do want to hire someone that looks like you, who has the same culture as you. But then there's a second component to that. Do you have the highest skill level of the position I need to hire you for, and can I get you cheaper? That's about profit. That's about business. That's about money. So again, either you have to be really good at what you do or go to jobs that people look like you. And that's why they came up with merit-based. And again, we know that the stereotypical DEI is, we're using, that was being used as a euphemism for black, which we know that the biggest recipients of DEI initiative, and this according to the Department of Labor, has been white women and white men, and then other groups of people, but nonetheless, black folk at the bottom. So again, they can throw DEI in the trash all they want. They can burn it up. They can send it into space. They can send it on one of Elon Musk SpaceX ships to the moon, or to Mars rather, when the next rotation come around, it takes only 5 to 7 years to get there, depending on the light years that year. But again, this is what we're talking about. America is just becoming so expensive. People used to tell me, I remember when they had penny candies, me too. Then it turned into a dime. Then it turned into a quarter. And then those same penny candies come in a pack of 2 or 3, and it costs you about $1 or even more than that. So let's get into the economics of things. When we talk about the middle class, because a lot of us, we go around believing that we're the middle class because we make this amount of money, that amount of money. And they had a story here. I just want to point a couple of things out about this because it's important. Because the middle class, depending on where you are right now, you may be high class, you may be filthy rich. Thank you for joining here at Blacklogic. If you're new to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know every time I go live or I post a video. But most of us, like myself, we aim for that sweet spot. We aim for the sweet spot called the middle class in America because we can see what type of life you can live. And it looks really good. But it turns out that your location plays a significant role in defining that status. You see how I combine those two together? About the cost of living. And think about it. Just a couple of years ago, they came out with a report. They stated that households of 3 would need an annual income between $56,000 and $170,000 to be considered middle class. And these numbers aren't one size fits all. They fluctuate based on where you live. For instance, in California, the middle class income range is between $60,000 and $180,000, while in Louisiana it's between $38,000 and $115,000. Now, when we looked on this report right here, it came all the way down. Look at these numbers here for middle class. They said New Jersey holds the second spot with a range of $66,000 to $200,000. Now look at California. Now this is New Hampshire. My apologies. This is New Hampshire. And they said to be considered middle class in New Hampshire, you have to make $65,000 to $194,000. And that the median household income in New Hampshire is $100,000. Why? And people would try to convince you that you need to know a lot about economics. No, you can understand the grift in America. Arlington, Virginia, a household making $280,000 can still be considered middle class. $280,000, you're still in the middle class in Arlington, Virginia in certain parts. And look at California and San Jose. Wow, the same difference, 280,000 roughly, 273,000. Irvine, a $250,000. This is astronomical. And again, I don't think you guys know what it takes to become middle class. I created this quick little spreadsheet so you guys can see the middle class. And we're going to just run through them very quickly. I'm not going to name them all. I'm just going to point out a couple. And you guys can look at your state of what is considered middle class in your state. Alabama, $36,000 to $108,000. Florida, $40,000 to $120,000. Illinois, $45,000 to $135,000. Maine, $36,000 to $108,000. Look at the vast differences that are being considered the middle class. Missouri, $38,000 to $114,000. Ohio, $38,000 to $114,000. Texas, $50,000 to $151,000. Utah, $45,000 to $135,000. And then Wyoming, $38,000 to $114,000. Let's look at California very quickly. $60,000 to $179,000. And did you guys see that Texas started at $50,000? Colorado started at $50,000. But Texas is only what? $10,000 to $30,000 away from California. Why is that? Because a lot of these tech companies are moving to Texas, changing the economics in Texas. But this is what you guys have when you're being considered for middle class. So how much do you make? So if I was in Arizona, let me show you something very quickly. If I was in Arizona making the bare minimum, $40,000, $40,000. Do you know some people who makes, let's say 280,000, That's chump change to them. Some people will tout on their chest and say, you know what? I have your annual income in one of my stock portfolios. I have your annual income in one of my stock portfolios. So is $40,000 a lot of money? Or was I just really good? And $40,000 is not a lot of money. It's not a lot of money. It's a lot of money for people who don't have $40,000. But in the economics of America, I've seen people become millionaires in 3 to 5 years. I can't do it. It's hard. They always say, why are you not a millionaire yet? I said, well, because my YouTube channel didn't take off. That's why. So I can have all the talents in the world, but people just hit they are the right place at the right time, doing the right thing, and boom, in America, you can be a millionaire in 3 to 5 years. Then some of us takes 20 to 30 to 40 years to become a millionaire and still trying to become a millionaire. Why? Why? Because you don't want to be in this rat race of the middle class. You don't want to be in this. I never saw people like, I don't want to make that much money. They must have been very, 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 very liberal and hippie. I don't want to make that much. I just want people to live their lives the way that the Adiasi school of spirits want them to be. Like, they just come up with some stuff you never heard of. You're like, oh, okay, I thought you were going to say God, but you over there kissing trees. But this is what we want. And I think that in America, we have all these demographics of people, right? America is a melting pot. That's good and bad. When it comes to discrimination and racism, America being a melting pot is a good thing, so you can see everybody's as equal and you're not in your own different silos like, oh, these people from a strange land came to America. They're unintelligent, they're stupid, and they're criminals, right? Boxing them in. But then you can see different demographics from those group of people. Oh, there are some criminals. There are some highly productive people. There are some intelligent people. There are some hardworking people, all from that demographic. So you don't group them in as one large monolith of people that they're all the same way. So that's good in some regards. But when we speak about America culturally, then it's different because there is an American culture. It doesn't matter if you're Black, white, Asian, if you've been here for like 3 or 4 generations or more, we celebrate Thanksgiving. That's an American sort of thing. We celebrate July 4th. We're shooting off fireworks and we're eating barbecue. Majority of Americans with our American culture and our American spirit. You can go from, since people always use Chicago, I just use Chicago. I'm not saying anything bad. You can be in South Side of Chicago celebrating, okay, and I don't know if they can shoot fireworks, okay, but you can be in the South Side of Chicago in America shooting off fireworks and cooking out and having a great time, and go to white America, and let's say a Lily town of California, and be doing the same thing. That's America. But America is becoming very expensive to live. That's why I keep telling people, regardless if you believe you're a child or not, oh, I'm over 40, I'm over 50, I just don't have the energy to go and learn new skills, then you're going to be broke. Then you're going to die. And I don't mean like a physical death, but like a economic death. I mean, you got to have a talent. You have to have a skill. You have to have, and here's another thing. You could do perfectly fine making $50,000 a year, but you have to figure out how you're going to invest it, save it. So when you no longer want to work or you no longer can work, it can suffice your life at the level of standard of living that you want. Politics plays a big role in the way we live our lives, do it not? And I try to really inform people not to be so darn emotional when it comes to politics. I show emotion, but I'm internally not emotional about it because I understand this is really about power. And the subsidies of power is money. That's just one of the things you're going to get. That's one of the things that a lot of these politicians can create is money. And they can make America very affordable to live. They can. This is not impossible. Black Americans have been fooled for a very long time when it comes to politics. We've always looked to a leader who was stronger, more intelligent, was a better speaker, who had a presence and a power and a spirit about them. like a Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Prior to him meeting and having talks with Lyndon B. Johnson, majority of Black Americans were Republicans. And I'm not trying to tell you guys go and be Republicans, but majority of Black Americans were Republicans because Republicans, majority of them have a very conservative mindset, a very traditional mindset, and it worked for America. And some people just believe that is a mindset of keeping women at home and taking care of babies. It has nothing to do with that. It's based on the knowledge that you have, the skills that you obtain, and the work that you do, versus the government just supplying you and giving you everything. That seems the way that the Democratic Party has been. And when Martin Luther King met with LBJ, not LeBron James, but Lyndon B. Johnson, the president at the time, to sign that Civil Rights Act, overnight, 85 to 90% of Black voters became Democrat. And even though they publicly put out of Lyndon B. Johnson said, if we sign this Civil Rights Act, we'll have those N-words voting Democrat for the next 200 years. We're already close to 100 years of voting Democrat. We need to stop looking for a singular leader. We need to stop. This is my opinion, my conjecture, my bias. We need to stop looking at a singular leader. We need to stop looking at a group of leaders. We need to start develop a code. We need to start developing disciplines that we follow. Instead of trying to rally behind a certain group of people like the Congressional Black Talkers or the Congressional Black Caucus, or even the Democratic Party. No one is really taking a step back. And when these people are being questioned about some of their actions and legislations, like allowing transgender men to be in women's sports, like how could anyone in it? That's not who we are. We're very sensible people. We're very common sense people. That's at least how I grew up in Southeast DC. We were very common sense. Things were just blatant. Like, get your butt in this house at 9 o'clock. And if you didn't get your butt in your house, you knew you was getting a butt whooping. Plain and simple, straight. But America has changed because of the Democratic Party, and they've had the support of Black Americans through all this debauchery of the way we think. And we just think because they talk to Black people and the Republicans don't, that the Democrats are for Black people. They've been talking to us since LBJ. They haven't done anything. And here's the thing. It would be good to put Black on it, that you're going to support the Black community. But in some regards, I'm thinking, you know what? Just do something in my city. You don't have to put Black on it. Just do something in my city that's going to benefit my community. Can you at least do that? You don't got to put Black on it. Just tell me that you're going to reconstitute that community center over there, and you're going to put $5 million on it so the youth can have something to do after school. They have a place to study, a place to get on computers and learn new skills, a place where they can exercise and work out and play sports. At least tell me you're going to do that. You don't got to put Black on it. But they haven't even done that. But they've allowed illegal immigration inside of our country, and the jobs that our people used to have, the illegal immigrants have. And they have been trying to keep them in the city, and we keep voting. Oh my gosh. For freaking Democrats have the only thing they've been doing is hurting us. They have been neglect us. They haven't done anything for us. But they talk to us and they pat us on the back and they do a fish fry and have catfish nuggets, and we dance in a jig, and we're always looking for a good time. And then they get our entertainers, our sports persons, and they put them on stage and they're like, representation, symbolism. You guys are represented. Where's the legislation? Where's the black and white? You know what? Ags, again, and I'm no Republican, I'm no conservative, okay? I'm not even independent. I'm just a black man learning this politic game because it's crazy. Every day you show up at work or the days you go to work and you had to sign a W-4, you get a W-2, but you get paid in your bank account. Most people are getting electronic deposits. Let that electronic deposit don't occur. You raising all types of hell to HR and to the financial department. You telling your boss, hey, I didn't get paid. I don't know what's going on. Did I get fired? What's going on? Oh no, I need my money. I need to pay my bills. You will be flying off the handle. You'll be flying off the handle if you did not get paid for the work you have done. But we continue to pay the Democrats, and they haven't put any work in for us. That is stupidity. I can keep promising a group of people something that I'm never going to get them, and for them to be internally poor and powerless. Think about that. When we started to make a shift, like a large group of Black Americans just were kind of opting out politically around 2008, who came inside office? Barack Obama. Every Black person, even myself, jumped on board. And we fell for the grift. And he was speaking just like any other Democratic shield politician that wasn't going to do nothing for Black folk. But what did Barack Obama give Black Americans? He gave us hope. I remember Dick Gregory, bless his soul. I'm sorry he passed. He was a character within himself. He said, hope can't feed your family. Hope can't pay your bills. I don't give a damn about hope. I agree with Dick Gregory. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he said in a nutshell. But nowadays we have representation. We have representation. Let me show you guys something very quickly. We have representation like a Jasmine Crockett. She had one good moment against Marjorie Taylor Greene. One good moment. She had one good moment against Marjorie Taylor Greene. It was epic. Unfortunately, we're now seeing the true colors of Jasmine Crockett. She is the reincarnation politically of Sexy Red. And for you people who are not familiar with Black Americans, let me just let you guys know. In your culture, you may have those trailer park trash and hillbillies. Well, and then you have your middle class white Americans, then your high class rich, you have all these pockets of different people in white America, but you do have that low part of your society. So does Black America. And we have this amount of percent that you guys have, 1 or 2%. But that 1 or 2% in Black culture, for some reason, are the people who are put in place to represent Black America. So now people think that all Black Americans are like that. No, the difference is white America, that there's a big employee at hand here where your low part of your society and your citizens that live in those trailer parks that you guys talk bad about, living up in the hills, all strange people, they don't get put on TV. And if they do, it's like a show, so it's entertainment. People know it's not real, but it is real. But when it comes to Black America, they just take a real life fool, put him in position, and represents all Black people. So you're like, all Black people like that. And we're not. We call those the N-words, and we call them hoodlums. They're 1 or 2% of Black America. And this is one of those Democratic shield hoodlums. Just make a fool of themselves in these very high positions, right? And then, unfortunately, we're going to have a lot of people on the Democratic side to come and defend this. Oh, she was just having fun. It's not a big deal. It is a big deal. The political spectrum is heightened right now. There's a lot of tension politically about our country and our economics. Well, they don't have to be so serious. You guys are making it serious. But anyway, I digress. I'm just going to make a comparison here. And you guys might have already seen this. Let's look at this very quickly. Lord.
Get it on the floor. 40 acres in the mule. This is bigger than the music. Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence. Think it on it like Hey, I'm tripping, I'm sliding, I'm riding through the back like buck. Must have on a beat, bro, deep boat in the back.
Yeah. It looks like the Democratic convention all over again. It looked like the Democratic convention all over again. That's what it looked like to me. And I keep telling you guys, the internet, social media will never be defeated. It's always been undefeated because just as though she made this, try to get some clout, I don't know. Try to say she's hip, I don't know. She didn't. Social media. Anyway, this is their clapback of social media with Jasmine Crockett.
Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence. Hey, I'm tripping, I'm sliding, I'm riding through the back like buck. Must have on a beat, bro, deep boat in the back. He a freak though, man, damn, call like.
I told you I was gonna be here for a minute today, guys. I usually don't do no more than 30 minutes, but I'm going in on this one. It's Friday. You guys gonna get off early or you're gonna stop working early, I know. But nonetheless, that's the debauchery, okay, of the Democrats. And a lot of these black folk, they don't represent us. They don't represent the rest of black Americans. I promise you. These are people who put in place to put a face on the debauchery in the Democratic Party on some regards, but they can still regain black votes. Stop it. We gotta stop falling for the trick bag. This is all a bag of tricks. All a bag of tricks. Let me let this sister here, this powerful sister here, put you guys up on game. Let me do that for you guys.
Texas, what are y'all doing? Are y'all really proud of the representation y'all getting from Jasmine Crockett? I'm serious. Are y'all proud at the way Jasmine Crockett carries herself in Congress? Jasmine Crockett is a racist, trashy, ghetto piece of mess. Yep, I said it. Y'all get mad at me all y'all want. I stand 10 toes down on what I said. I said it, I meant it. She's a ghetto, trashy, racist piece of crap. Jasmine Crockett's mouth is completely filthy to be in Congress. For her to be representing the American people, her mouth is filthy. She don't even know when to cut it off. I don't care what she say at home and how she talk at home, but when you're in Congress representing the people of the United States of America, representing the people of your district, you should know how to act and how to control yourself. Her mouth is ridiculous. Now, don't get me wrong. My mouth can be ridiculous sometimes, but I'm not in Congress. I'm not representing a certain district of people who put me in office. And you can best believe if I was, I would know how to act and how to carry myself. Even if you disagree with someone, you should know how to carry yourself. Jasmine Crockett is a piece of ghetto trash. And I'm so sick of y'all out here telling myself, oh, Jasmine Crockett is a strong black woman. Jasmine Crockett don't take no mess. Oh, Jasmine Crockett, she'll tell you off. Jasmine Crockett is a ghetto piece of trash who do not know how to control herself or do not know how to act in Congress. And it is what it is. I mean, are y'all really proud of this? Women, are we? Is this what represent us? Are these the type of women that we want representing us in Congress? I'm serious. I don't care if you're black, white, Asian, Latino. I don't care what you are. Is this what you want representing us as women? And stop lumping all us black women up together, acting like we agree with this bull crap that Jasmine Crockett doing, because we don't. Jasmine Crockett is a mess. Texas, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing, Texas? At this point, everything is a joke. This is a joke. The Democratic Party already is a joke. And if Jasmine Crockett is supposed to be the new face of the Democratic Party, she's supposed to be the new leader of the Democratic Party. Child, y'all in more trouble than I even thought. And it is what it is.
I keep telling you guys, black folk are returning to the Republican Party in droves. Like, for those people who want to stay part of a political party, like they want to go out and people are like, how did you vote? Or what are your views? And like, I'm a Republican. Oh, you're a black Republican? That's not going to start being a surprising thing. Like, there's a lot of white people who are Republicans. And when you tell them that you're a Republican, and I'm not a Republican, by the way, I keep telling you, I don't affiliate myself with any of the political parties. But when you tell a white person that you're a Republican, they're like, oh, you're a Republican. They're so surprised. And nobody knows the history of black Americans because we were Republicans prior to Dr. Martin Luther King and LBJ signing in the Civil Rights Act, where 90% of Black Americans became Democrats overnight. We've been Republicans. So this is nothing new, and this is what it's going to turn to. But right now, it almost feels that a lot of us are trapped on this Democratic plantation. And I don't know if it's the energy and spirit that people engulf themselves with of Martin Luther King and how he got the Civil Rights Act bill signed, and Lyndon B. Johnson was a Democrat. We're proud of that. We were Republicans, and since he signed this, we should be Democrats. If MLK were here, if MLK was here today, if we would have to choose any political party, I hate to say it because I'm neither one of them, it would be Republican. It would be Republican. I can see Martin Luther King sitting down with Donald Trump. I think Martin Luther King would be like 90-something years of age, be very old. But nonetheless, sitting down with Donald Trump, securing economics for the Black community, for the Black masses of Americans. Because prior to his death, he gave a speech about going to Washington to get our check. And that was in, of course, conjunction with reparations or restitution to a degree. But don't just think that all Black people are on that Democratic stuff. But unfortunately, a lot of us are like this. A lot of us are like this. A lot of us are trapped on the Democratic plantation, but the gate is open for us to leave, but we feel trapped. Instead of just simply walking around, walking away from the plantation and not down that dirt road, we come to the gate and we just look out and put our hands on bars like 1 foot to our right, 1 foot to our left is the exit of the Democratic Party. And I'm not telling you to turn Republican or turn independent. Just be whatever you want to be, but base your vote off of legislation. Base your vote off of legislation or don't play the game altogether. Because I know a lot of us are not for a lot of the liberalism that they've put on America. Well, and they painted this broad picture, affirmative action and DEI, like that was for Black folk. No, it wasn't. It helped everybody else. It helped the LGBT community. It helped the white women community. It helped the illegal immigration and legal immigration community more so than us. Can merit-based promotions, can merit-based hiring be tampered with? Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand why some people wanted DEI initiatives. So we will have a certain demographic of people in a lot of these jobs for representation. And a lot of Black people were getting supposedly overlooked, right? That it wasn't doing merit-based. And I do agree that has happened. I wonder how this is going to shape up today because it should be merit-based. But unfortunately in America, and I hate to pop some of you guys' bubble that believe this, racism still exists. So don't think that this Black person is not qualified over this other person. And that's the reason why this person got, hired. No, racism still exists. But I think that systems in place where it only pops out the highest qualified applicant could assist in eliminating people that will be getting hired for DEI. Again, they have these search engines where they run your resume through. Well, shouldn't they take out what is your demographic? Shouldn't they take out video interviews when you're getting hired? Like on your application, why ask for your race? Again, that is to know how many Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, and other that they have in their organization. Why do they need to know that? Oh, they need to know that because they need to report that to their state and federal government. Why does the state and federal government need to know that? Well, they need to know what demographics of people live in their country. I'm just saying delay that process by 2 steps. One, when you're filling out your application online, they shouldn't ask you your race or demographic. Nope. When you're doing an interview, whether it be in person or video, you should not have a picture. You should not have a picture. You should be behind a curtain. Ask me questions. I answer them appropriately. And I know that would change the whole dynamics of interviews, engagement, sociability. I know. But again, this is only a couple of ways I've thought about if we're going to do merit-based hiring that we can decrease the amount of racism. Because again, once you get hired and you're the best candidate for the job, they realize you're Black. They're like, damn. They did invent a lot of things. Didn't them Black Americans invent a lot of things? Thank you guys for joining me here this morning. If you're new to Blacklogic, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. So every time I go live or release a video, you guys are informed. You guys have a great and wonderful morning. This is Blacklogic.